Hello, Steve Mills here. It's great to be back on my podcast and talking about improving results, because that's what it's all about. That's what the Results podcast is all about. It's great to be here. Thanks for joining me. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're a returning member, perhaps you've downloaded my podcast, then thank you for doing that. We now got just short of 4,000 people have downloaded the podcast, which is absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to celebrating the 10,000th person, hopefully in the not too distant future. So today I wanted to talk to you about it's all around people that I'm proud of, and there are many people in my life that I'm proud of, and I'm sure there are in yours. And two people that I know have taken what I call massive action. I often talk to businesses about, taking massive action, because most businesses don't do that. Certainly not as far as marketing's concerned. I was in a meeting this morning giving an example of one of my key sayings is that it's not that you're doing the wrong marketing, it's that you're doing the right marketing in the wrong way. And I mentioned LinkedIn by way of an example. So the example is that most people on LinkedIn, in fact, everybody on LinkedIn is doing the right marketing. They're on LinkedIn. That is one of the right places to be. However, they're doing it in a wrong way. And often they're doing it in the wrong way. Sometimes it's because they don't know what to do. But generally, it's just because they don't do what they know. They don't even do the basics. And so they tell me things like, well, I'm on LinkedIn, but to be honest, I don't really do much. Just got out of a meeting with a guy, said, yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't think I've ever posted anything, and I said, well, how much business have you won from LinkedIn? And he said, well, nothing. And, there's no wonder, joining the gym and never going there ain't going to get you fitter or slimmer or whatever it is you want to try to achieve. However, I'm not here today to talk about LinkedIn. I'm here today to talk about achievement and a couple of people that I'm quite proud of. Now, one of them is absolutely zero to do with me. He's a guy that I've known for many, many years, called Dave Thomas. Dave and I first met on a speaker's boot camp by Frank Furness. Frank is international speaker on sales and marketing, and very, very successful, travels all over the world doing that. And Dave and I went along to his workshop in Birmingham many years ago. Could be as long as 20 years ago now. Now, whilst I went on to do other things, and I do speak as a professional speaker, and I've spoken in Singapore and Dubai and Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, Switzerland, Vietnam, and so on and so forth. It's not my full-time job. However, it became Dave's full-time job. He's a full-time professional speaker. Now, Dave's an interesting guy because he started off, go and check him out. Go and find Dave Thomas, professional speaker on Google. I'm sure you'll find him there. But he started his life in, I think it's Halifax or Bradford. I think it's Halifax. In West Yorkshire, in a tough environment. He had a tough challenges as a child and as a young man, and but he grew up and turned into someone who had the second best memory in the world. Second best memory in the world, and an amazing achievement in itself. But later in his life, he noticed that, he'd been probably eating too many hotel breakfasts, too many meals in hotels, and probably sat on planes too much. And like a lot of people, hitting the age of 40 and into his early 40s, let's just say he was a tad overweight. And I think that would be the understatement of the year. He was a bit of a fatty. Let's just say that. Now, one of the things Dave did at that point, he made a decision, and that decision was that he wasn't going to be like that anymore. and he took what I call massive action. You know, he didn't do a little bit. He didn't go down the gym a couple of times a week. He didn't spend half an hour there and spend the other half hour he was in the gym chatting with his mates. You know, you only need to look at him now to know that he has done the time. You know, he's put the time in. He's lifted those weights consistently. And he's not just lifted light weights, he's lifted heavy weights. And very long story short, he's turned into, you know, quite a successful bodybuilder and enters competitions and all that sort of stuff. I'm not quite sure how successful he is, but one thing I can tell you is he looks amazing for his age. I'm a reasonable amount older than Dave, but do you know what? I'm not going to aim to be a bodybuilder, but I am going to aim to get my body back in shape. So here's my 100% commitment to doing that. You know, I'm recording this in October 2020. I'm okay, I'm going to be really honest here. I'm about 16 stone, which is probably about 2 or 3 stone overweight. So I'm not quite a big lardy, but I'm definitely a little lardy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim to it around about the 13 to 14 stone mark. And I'm going to do that in the next 6 months. Now, so I'm hopefully going to be really impressed with myself for achieving that. But I know I'm impressed with Dave and what he's achieved. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And it just goes to show you're never too old. Now, the other person I'm really impressed with, I met up with, having not seen him for quite some time because of COVID, and that was my son Jamie. Now, Jamie's a good guy. You know, he's 32 now. He's got a wife. He's got 2 kids. He's got himself a nice job, and you know, he's always been, I think, the type of person who, you know, he was always reasonably happy with his lot, I would say, right since being a child. You know, he's never, I was always like, you know, really want, you know, I was probably that little bit of a pushy parent, if I'm absolutely honest. You know, he always loved football, and I pushed him into it. Well, I didn't push him into it, he loved it anyway, but I pushed him in football, and he did well. You know, he did great. But I think one of the things that he's really has taken to heart is physical appearance. He'd got to a level where, you know, he was by no means, you know, overweight, but he was, I don't know, probably about, he's been doing this for about a year or 2 now, I think, maybe perhaps a little bit longer, and he'd got a little bit flabby around the edges, let me just say that. A little bit overweight, nothing tremendous, but, you know, he was probably heading for, you know, in another 10 to 15 years of being, you know, maybe 2 or 3 stone overweight. He was perhaps a stone overweight, something like that. And what he did was he decided then and there that, again, that was enough. He wasn't going to live his life like that. And he started exercising. Now, for Jamie, what he did is he got really into something called Insanity, which is a training program. You'll find it on YouTube, I'm sure, but you can buy videos and DVDs, and Jamie got into that, and he was doing like a version of Insanity every day. And the reason it's called Insanity is that it's basically insanely hard. I know, I've done it myself, and believe me, it's about 30 to 40 minutes of, let's just say, tough exercise. And he was doing that, building himself up and all that sort of stuff. And then he got into weights and started utilizing weights as well. And he's done fantastically well. You know, I saw him, as I say, the first time actually, I think this year, sadly, yesterday, and hadn't seen him since Christmas of last year because of COVID. And so we had a great time together. We had a great day. Learned a lot more about what he's doing in terms of his health. He was also on supplements and things, taking proteins and pills and so on. All good pills, I hasten to add. He's not having anything dodgy, but he's really taken it serious and become, quite knowledgeable on the subject as well. Knows what to take, when to take it, what exercises to do, how many to do, when to push yourself, and so on and so forth. And I've got to say, I'm just so proud of him for doing that. I think it's fantastic. I think in a way, it's more difficult to do when you're young, because you're not yet in a situation that you are 3 stone overweight. So, I think it's more difficult, possibly. But anyway, either way, I'm very proud of both Dave and Jamie. They've both done fantastic. And the reason I mention this, the reason I'm talking about this, is really it's about business from a motivation, the motive for action point of view. Why did those two do that? Why did they take action? They took action because they weren't happy with the current situation. Now, I see so many businesses right now are not happy with their current situation, but they're just going, oh, well, it's tough. COVID's here, don't know what's going to happen. Oh, there's nothing I can do. And, with a bit of luck, the government will look after us. If that's your attitude, then look out, because, you're going to get hit by a boulder at some point. You're going to potentially, and I really hope this is not the case for you, but you're going to potentially go out of business. Now is the time. Now is the time to take action. A lot of your competitors are not marketing themselves. A lot of them are sitting back thinking, oh, times are tough, I better not spend anything. What's that doing? Number one, it's giving you a great opportunity to get ahead of them. So when all this stuff is over, you'll be in a far, far stronger position than they are. B, it's reduced the cost of doing things like advertising. People like Facebook and YouTube and Google and so on, are reducing prices because not everybody can pay those rates, and not everybody's willing to. So, there's lots of opportunities right now to buy into advertising and other forms of marketing. And, if you're determined to achieve your goals, then I really hope you do so. So if you want any help, I'd love to be able to help you. I've spent 25 years now helping small businesses with their marketing. I'm an expert in it. I've learned from many of the world's leading sales and marketing experts, and I now pass on that information to my small business clients. So if you want to take action with me, then what you need to do is to go to my website, which is stevemills.co, and get yourself signed up either for my webinar or book a one-to-one meeting with me, or if you want literally some help implementing your marketing, you need somebody to actually do it for you, then go to my marketing agency website, which is Croften, croften.co.uk. That's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was useful and interesting to you, and I look forward to speaking to you again on my podcast very, very soon. Thanks very much for listening.